I've got a lot of people that are rather enthralled with how I use these, what I do with them. And I'm going to explain this and put this on a video so I don't have to constantly write this down online, because a lot of people are really fascinated with this. Now, this is going to be kind of tricky for me to do with one hand, so bear with me here. But a lot of people will take these and they'll light this whole end right here, and it's really smoky. And in my opinion, that's, first of all, it's using way too much, and number two, I like to do some other things before I do this. I usually put thought and effort into what I'm doing, consideration. I like to look at it as intent. And I'm sure a lot of you already understand that intent is everything when it comes to what you're doing. So, what I like to do, me personally, is I'll take this knot right here, and what I do is I try to untie this. I take this and I remove the knot, release the knots and get that out of there. Pull the whole thing apart. I gently take this out. Now this bind right here, before I go any further, one of the things I'm going to do with this bind, I don't really like binding, anything like that. So I'm going to take this bind, I'm going to stick this in this ashtray. We're going to go ahead and get rid of that bind so that it can never bind anything ever again. Now that that's good and taken care of, we're going to get back to this. Now when I do this, I usually find some sort of container. Now, hopefully I can do this without messing anything up here. I'm going to gently use my fingers and pull all this apart. Now the whole time I'm looking at this, since I've destroyed the bind around this, I'm looking at this as though I have released the sage. I am releasing this before I use it for what I intend to use it for. This is some way of, I don't know, I'd rather like to, be cool about something and gain something's favor before I go making it do something. That's just the way I see it. Yeah, we'll take about this much here. Now, I have a specific ashtray that I take bits of this in. And what I've already got this broken up and separated from the stems, because I don't burn the stems either. And I usually take my time and stack a nice little pile, taking my sweet old time looking at it. I want to make a nice little pile. I'm going to put my energy into it, a little bit of effort. That's why you never cut the bind with scissors, because it's about the effort you put into it. Using scissors or a knife to just cut the bind, I don't know, that's really kind of like, I don't know, there's no effort into it, no pride, none of that. You really don't need a whole bunch when you're doing this, because after playing around with it and doing it like this for a while, you kind of catch on to stacking it and leaving air holes. Now here's the part that That could be a little bit tricky if you don't have a torch. I mean, you know, take your time, be careful with your fingers if you're using a lighter to light this. But I take a torch and I'll light it around the bottoms and then slightly blow on it. I'll show you. Now clearly you can see that's plenty enough smoke. And about 96% of it left still in there. That'll burn like that for quite some time. I can make it throughout my whole house with just that little bit. And that is how I use white sage myself.